Now I've selected two suits which I want to do trial tutorials on. Okay, there's two suits that I've selected from this, and then there's a suit that I've purchased fabric for, which I want to design from scratch. So we're going to be doing three tutorials in full. One is a Mina Hassan replica, which is design number 5006, and then we've got a Maria B design number 6002, and then we've got some fabric of our own. It's a red georgette dupatta, a crinkle georgette, which is absolutely beautiful. These are the best type of dupattas that you can have. These are off the roll dupattas, and I loved the color on this and I purchased it. And I bought some black silk to go with this. This is a very fine flowy type of silk, which is just gorgeous. It's like a luxury type of a silk. And then I've bought some Banarsi fabric, which I'm going to be cutting up and I am going to be trimming. So the design is going to be tulip salwars, all of them. And maybe there's going to be the odd variation. Now what you miss from the one tutorial, what I will do is I will do the tutorials in English and in Urdu, and you're going to have to mix and match and watch the channels, and perhaps try and watch all the videos to try and catch any maybe odd time I may forget something, or I may do it slightly differently depending on the fabric. You can't use the same procedure in all the tutorials, and because all the fabrics are different, all the textures are different, all the perhaps there will be a slight variation in the design as well, but so we're going to be doing these differently, slightly variations. It's going to be three designs. I've taken a big challenge, so let's hope that I can fulfill and actually accomplish what I am about to do. So the Mina Hassan one is orangey color salwar. And now my only little bit of a setback on this is that I am a little bit fearful whether it's going to be enough. Sorry, it's going to be the grey salwar. No, it's going to be the orange salwar. Okay, it's going to be the orange salwar. I'm a little bit confused. Yes, it is the orange salwar because the grey is the lining. Now what I may do with this is I may use some other lining, and I may keep the salwar fabric as well and then make it in the similar one as well, because the fabric for lining is slightly bit it's not thick, it is a fairly mild type of fabric, so you can use the one that's come, or you can use your own. And then because this fabric is suitable for salwar as well, if you're not too sure of one of these salwars, then what you can do is experiment and perhaps leave this fabric and make an alternative salwar out of this. Sometimes we're unsure on exactly what it's going to look like, so it's a new design, it's a new sort of like a testing. Sometimes we're unsure, models can carry it off, sometimes we're reluctant to try anything new and to carry it off. So perhaps I will leave this fabric, and just in case. So this is just in case. Okay. The dress itself, there's a few things that we will need to unpick and separate. So the seamings, the fabric for the sleeves and so on, that just needs to be separated. I'm not quite sure whether I'm going to leave this border on as it is, or I'm going to take it off and reattach it back. It is attached nicely, so perhaps I will leave it as it is. Apart from that, I think once we get closer to the sewing, we're going to work out what exactly we need to do. Now there was a slight bit of a damage in this dupatta, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set out my machine, embroidery machine, and I'm going to try and actually patch this up. There's a small bit of embroidery missing, so I'm going to try and do this embroidery with my embroidery machines and see if I can fix this slight bit of a problem. This is one of the setbacks with these designer suits, which are replicas. Sometimes you may get the odd mistake in them. We are paying a lot less price, so fair enough, I can live with trying to patch this little bit mistake up. Obviously it's too much of a hassle sending it back to India to try and get a replacement. Often the sellers will not take responsibility, especially on the cheap suits, and this is what it is. This is one of the consequences of often buying online, that there might be the odd mistake. And this is not to say when you go out shopping, even to shops, right, this can easily happen, because most of these suits are in packages. The shopkeepers do not want to let you open the package. Maybe you've gone out of town shopping, maybe it's quite distance and you don't get around to it. Shopkeepers will often not take liability. And then again, there are so many shops that are selling these as well, so it could be that you bought it from your one shop and I've had when I had the shop, I had this happening to me. I often remembered everything I sold, and there was a couple of occasions where somebody bought back to my shop something that they'd purchased from somebody somewhere else, and they said, oh, we were given it as a gift, and the person who gave it us said they specifically bought it from your shop. And I was there trying to justify it, no, they didn't buy it from your shop, because I've never even sold these. So there's a lot of shopkeepers who sell these, and you've got, as long as your conscience is clear and you're not trying to do somebody over, often I was sure if I hadn't sold something, then I knew I hadn't sold it. But yes, there are sometimes little mistakes, and sometimes you just have to overlook them for the sake of a few pennies here or there. You just cannot be the hassle of taking it back and so on. Now this is the Maria B latest design. Again, we're going to be sewing this in the tulip salwar design. Now they've given some lace with this, but I'm sure this is not adequate. There's only a small, and this is not enough to go on the side seam like the way we want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and source out some lace, perhaps in this orangey or in this design, and see what we can do about adding it. Otherwise we're going to have to compromise and add some bits to this. We will see what we manage to do. Okay, we'll see what we can do. Just a little bit of cautionary advice. Well, I'll get to the cautionary advice as we get into the sewing. So what we've got with this suit is we've got a print dupatta, we've got the plain fabric for the lining and the salwar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the salwar first, and then we're going to work around to what we get left over to use it as the lining. So this is our going to be today's mission, to try and accomplish, to try and get these 3 suits somehow stitched and somehow organized. Okay, so the next bit of advice I'm going to give you is to use the photos and to get your size. Okay, so make sure to watch the next part of the video where we're going to work out how we're going to use the pictures to our advantage and to get our size. So I'm hoping that you're going to join me in that, inshallah.